Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Marauders podcast. New year, same old crap.
Yeah, same old us. There's no. Well, I guess we have a new mic.
We do have a new mic, so hopefully we sound better, but probably not.
Yeah, probably not. It's only one mic, so.
Yeah. Timing.
Also, our P's are gonna have less bass.
He means we have a pop filter. Please ignore him.
Yes. So
we're gonna talk about 2018,
right?
Because we didn't post for like the last bit of it.
To business.
I swear, if you quote the Mulan song one more time, I will smack you.
Again.
Yes.
So in today's episode, we will be talking about movies, a little bit of music. I also thought maybe some video games.
We should have talked about that, but yeah.
We will.
But I think
we should have mentioned.
We should have planned beforehand, but yeah, we should talk about it.
No. Yeah, we aren't very good at pre-planned. Usually, it's Sunday. It's like, yo, can we do it tomorrow? It's like, let me check with my parents. Sure. Okay, I'll be there at 12.
Yep.
So yeah, we're not great at
We're not great at planning.
Right. All right. So, meme review.
Before we get started, let's just kind of break the ice. How was your 2018? Just personally, you know.
It was good. Had a lot of fun. Made some new friends. Started a podcast. Started a newspaper. Got shut down. Started a podcast.
Yeah. It'd be like that sometimes.
I actually probably shouldn't say that, but you know.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I don't care. We're gonna keep it in because we're risky. Yeah, it was fun. Never thought I'd be doing a podcast, but
here we are.
Here we are with a pop filter and a cool mic.
Yeah.
How yourself?
My 2018 was pretty good. I got to know my friends better. I finally started putting out some music. That's fun.
You're making me tear up. Just kidding.
What?
Because you said you get to know your friends better, and I'm not one of your friends, so that's very sad.
Okay, that's enough of that. Moving on.
Yeah, let's
start off with some movies.
I almost said let's get down to business, unironically, but then I thought you would have taken it ironically.
I would have taken it ironically.
So movies. Do you want to pull up the magic list of magicness? Go all the way to the beginning.
That was great.
Boom 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 boom.
All right. 2018 was a pretty good year for movies overall.
I would say, yeah. Starting off, I think it was
Let's
February.
talk about some superhero movies to start off.
Yep. Black Panther. Oh yes, can you believe that this amazing movie came out in 2018?
I can.
Well, yes,
because it did.
Yeah, because it says 2018. But when I originally thought, like 2 weeks ago when we were supposed to do this episode, I was like, 2018 recap. What was one of the first movies? Oh, it was Black Panther. Oh, that's a question. Black Panther was 2018. When was Ragnarok? Was that late?
Ragnarok was
2017?
late 2017.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay, that's right. Because I thought they were really close to each other, so maybe it was 2018. But no, Black Panther. Yes, heading off. Extremely good movie.
Yeah.
I have a couple.
One of the best villains in Marvel history.
It's very compelling. So Black Panther winner Critics' Choice Award, Best Production Design, Best Costume Design, and Best Visual Effects. Thoughts on those awards?
Give them to me again.
Best Production Design.
Best Production. I think that's fair. Wakanda was pretty stunning.
Right. As well as not Wakabi. M'Baku. His lair. It's the picture
that picture.
Best Costume Design.
I think that's fair. I don't remember anything having better costumes, and the costumes were really consistent. I gotta say, I loved Michael B. Jordan's outfit at like the beginning of the movie during the heist.
Right.
That was great. Yeah. The mask and also just like what he was wearing normally.
The blue with the brown and the cool gold accents. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then best visual effects.
That one I might fight you on because, I mean, up until the third act, Black Panther is a near perfect movie. I didn't like the big battle at the end. I thought it was a bit too Marvel and a bit too weak as of a conclusion.
Okay.
But that doesn't really take away from Black Panther being a great movie.
Great visual, yeah.
But I don't know that I would give it the best visuals when you have Infinity War and like, I don't know, that's the other one I think of that had like consistent great CGI throughout, where Black Panther had some really weak CGI in the last fight.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like the picture that they show on the post, it's the the burial ceremonial panther tree thing.
That
And
that
I
area
think that
looked
really
amazing.
sold it. Yeah. All of it, except for the third act, is pretty consistent with really good visual effects, especially Wakanda and everything. But I think, personally, I think that scene really sells it with like the purple and the black tree and the panthers. I think
fair.
Yeah, I think that
scene looked amazing.
I agree with you about the third act, but that scene really nailed
fair.
the coffin in the something. I forget
So Black
the saying.
Panther, great.
Next movie, Infinity War.
Let's talk about that.
F in the chat.
Infinity War was.
Can we get some gamer hype?
What are you talking about?
It's a meme. Yeah, Infinity War was really good. What were you gonna say?
I think it was a near perfect movie. Of course, it was a little crowded. They did a great job focusing on Thanos, making him a compelling character as the villain.
Right.
It was well paced.
Are we close enough to the mic?
We're close enough to the mic.
I'm nervous.
You just want to. You might want to move this way a little bit, so you're like going through the pop filter.
All right.
All right. That's. I'm just saying.
Anyway, sorry. Moving on.
Honestly, there's not a lot I can say about Infinity War that isn't like implied. It's a culmination of like 10 years of Marvel movies.
Yeah, I think they did really well with it. Yeah, culminating 10 years of Marvel into one movie, I would assume is extremely difficult with like
and they did an amazing job.
Right? Yeah. Even though they didn't have Ant-Man or Hawkeye.
And clearly they're working on that with Endgame.
Right. Endgame, by the way,
we talked about?
Yeah.
Endgame.
Okay. Yeah. I remember now.
All right.
Next,
let's talk about Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Right.
Because that was this year too.
Not
great.
Yeah.
Like it was good.
It was a Marvel movie. It was
a good Marvel movie, but it wasn't
right.
It wasn't a standout.
It wasn't Civil War. It wasn't Black Panther. It wasn't Ragnarok. It wasn't
even the first Ant-Man.
Right. The first Ant-Man,
I love
it would have been really hard to be better than the first Ant-Man because of the jokes, the airy feel, just the really good storyline of that movie. Yeah, it would have been really hard to beat first Ant-Man. But yeah, it was a Marvel movie.
And it was good.
It was Iron Man 2. It was Thor 1. Thor 2 was bad.
I don't know if I would say Iron Man 2. That seems a bit harsh. Iron Man 2 was kind of weak.
Okay, well, yeah, it was like a Thor 1. It was good, but it was a Marvel movie.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. What was
Moving
next?
on.
I don't think there were any other
MCU. That's it for MCU.
MCU. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Still haven't seen that. I really need to see that.
Dude.
I might have plans Friday night, but if everything falls through, I'll just go and see it.
Okay.
Because, yeah, I've heard it's really good. Apparently it won an award.
Yeah, it won Best Animated Feature at the Golden Globes, I believe.
Yeah, that's really good.
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is about as close to a perfect movie as I've seen in a long time. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend you go see it. It's probably my favorite superhero movie of the year, and I do not take that lightly. I loved this movie. The animation was great. The story was perfectly paced. The side characters were good and entertaining, but they didn't distract.
Right.
It was a great movie.
Wow. Yeah, I really need.
High praise.
Really, really need to see that movie.
Yeah.
Especially now after you've recommended it to our audience of 11 people.
All right. Let's talk about Incredibles 2 for a second.
And let's keep it at 1 second. It was not good.
I disagree with you a little bit. I think it was good. I think it was way worse than the original Incredibles, and I also think that's a really high bar. I think it tried to relive the first movie. It undid a lot of the story arc from the first movie, the character development. The villain wasn't nearly as compelling.
Right.
And they spent the finale just seemed poorly planned.
Yeah. Yeah, I did not like it.
For me, it was another one like Ant-Man and the Wasp. It was good, but like it could have been way better.
Right. I'm actually going to disagree with you on that. Basic villain, my parents died because of superheroes, and now I'm going to blame superheroes. And okay, you name your character Evelyn Dever. That's so basic. Like, come on. Also, I have a bone to pick with it. She swears twice in the movie.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
I was watching it and she did it, and I was like, "What? Are you kidding me?" Oh, that just threw me off.
I mean, it's not the first Pixar movie to do it though.
Right.
Cars. There's a line in there. What's the name of the blue car?
Doc?
No, the girl. The I have no idea what her name is.
Sally?
Maybe? I think that's right.
We're insulting every Cars fan right now. I think it's Sally.
She has a line, "Welcome to Hillbilly Hell."
Okay. In different contexts, though.
Yeah, but it's still like
Sally.
It was Sally. Okay, I'd still consider it a cuss word. So like, it's not new for them, but it's still not like a great
and it
thing.
was very off-putting. That's one of the bones I have to pick with the movie. Basic villain, not a great story arc. Like you said, it broke down a lot of the story and character developments of the first one.
Yeah.
Basic movie. I did not like it.
Yeah.
I would go as far as to say I didn't like it.
Okay. I don't agree with you, but that's that's
I
a
would
podcast.
agree. I would agree with you, but like think of a Pixar movie worse. Even think of a Disney movie that's worse.
Was Moana bad? I never saw Moana.
I don't know. My brother.
Let's not talk about Moana.
I don't know.
Let's just move on.
I would assume it's. I watched the Cinema Sins video on it.
Let's talk about something we liked. Let's talk about A Quiet Place.
Oh my goodness, that movie was amazing.
You saw A Quiet Place.
Oh, quick shout outs to Venom. It was a good movie. I'm assuming I haven't seen it yet.
It was not a good movie, but like in all honesty, it's poorly written. It's not greatly directed. Its tone is all over the place.
Yeah.
But it's so much fun to watch. Tom Hardy as Venom is just a blessing.
Yeah.
He's so great.
Why would you do that? I love that part from the trailer. He was just like, "Why would we do that?"
But why?
But why? Why would you do that? Why would you do any of that?
All right, but okay, back on track. A Quiet Place.
It is one of my top 3 favorite movies. The Sting, A Quiet Place.
That's high praise.
And Interstellar. I forget. I have 4. Oh, The Sting, Interstellar, Castaway, and what was the one
you just said one, but I don't remember what it was.
A Quiet
Did we forget
Place.
A Quiet Place?
I literally just forgot A Quiet Place. I'm so dumb. The Sting is an amazing movie. It's got a scene, so I say this lightly. I would definitely recommend watching it. Just walk it out, I think, for the 10-minute mark. Right. Incredible movie. I don't think I've watched. It's my favorite movie. It's just such a good movie. You cannot go wrong with Paul Newman and Robert Redford.
Yeah.
Castaway is just such a good movie.
That's Wilson, right?
Wilson. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
We watched that recently. It's such a good movie. It's got a great story. Similar to A Quiet Place, there's 10 minutes of no speaking until he starts speaking to Wilson. Yeah, I love that movie. Interstellar will always be an all-time favorite.
Understandable.
It
gets a little pretentious, but
right,
I'm okay with that.
The third act is a little what? But at the same time, it's such a good movie.
Yeah,
I remember the first time we watched it, the credits started rolling. I turned around to my family and I was like, that was like a bowl of ice cream confusion sprinkled with confusion with syrup of confusion on top. I was so confused with the entire movie. But watched it again, has to be a favorite. Other one, A Quiet Place. I don't know why I like it. It's just so good.
A Quiet Place is the kind of horror movie that I wish we saw more of.
Yes.
It's got a great tone. It's got a great story.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, its story is incredible.
It makes you care about the characters.
Yeah.
Which I haven't seen in a horror movie ever. But to be fair, I have not seen a lot of horror movies.
This is the only horror movie I've seen. But like you said, I would like to see more horror movies like this. I will never watch something like Halloween or Nightmare on Elm Street. It's just because that, as much fake as it is, that could happen. Some, serial killer could, put on a mask and go crazy.
I've never been a fan of what you're describing. I would call the slasher brand of horror movie,
or Alfred.
But I like these. I like these movies like A Quiet Place that are a little more
fictional.
No,
unrealistic.
I mean, you're right, but that's not really what I mean. I mean more intellectual, I guess.
Okay,
like,
yeah.
They don't go for like the basic jump scares and stuff.
Yeah.
They really build the tension and they let you kind of
the stair scene.
Oh,
stair
man.
scene. Oh. Any of you who've seen it will know what we're talking about. The stair
Also,
scene is just...
the scene with the flooded basement.
Oh, that one's tense.
Is amazing.
That one's really tense.
It's basically it's a great horror movie.
Yeah, it's not your basic jump scares.
It's got great tension, great storytelling.
Yeah.
And you can't go wrong with John Krasinski.
You can't. You really can't.
You can try, but it'll be like Tom Hardy in Venom. At least that part will be fun.
Yeah, except that this movie's actually really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, going into the movie theater, I was like, I am going to walk out of this movie theater 5 minutes into the movie and sit on the bench and wait for all my friends to come out. But I sat through it, and I'm glad I did because it is one of my favorite movies ever. I don't think before going into that movie, I don't think if someone told me that, after this, your favorite movie is going to be a horror movie, I wouldn't have believed them. But now it's such a good movie.
I'd like to mention that I have never been a fan of like horror movies.
Right. Me
but
neither.
even the trailer for this one, I saw the trailer and I was like, I've got to see that.
Yeah, that too. I was in school and, I watched the trailer, but then I was in school and I watched it again and I was like, I hate horror movies, but this looks really good.
Yeah.
And
it's one of those kind of movies where it's like, it doesn't matter if you like the genre or not.
Yeah. And I was going to say it's, I don't like, Hitchcock type horror. It's more
like Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah, he does more thriller. So I don't know.
I mean, I like a good thriller, but
yeah,
I think we've ranted about A Quiet Place for too long.
Yeah.
But it's suffice it to say, it's a great
Really
movie,
good
and you
movie.
should check it out.
Recommend it to anyone.
Moving on.
Yes, moving on.
Let's talk about Mission Impossible Fallout.
Me personally going into it hadn't seen a Fallout or a Mission Impossible movie. I really liked it. I think Tom
Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
It says it right there.
Oh yeah, it does. I was staring at him. Okay, I think Tom Cruise is an idiot, but he's a legend. Like, I watched a thing after the movie where it was like he did all of those stunts.
Oh, that's what you mean. Okay.
Yeah. No, he's awesome, and he's awesome. But like, you're an idiot. No, I love him. I don't criticize him for it because
just like I wouldn't do it because I don't want to die.
That stuff is so insane. Like that helicopter thing.
The helicopter scene was ridiculous.
They said on the commentary that you could fly a helicopter for 10 years and not know how to do that. Like it's that difficult, and he learned it in 2 months. He broke his ankle on one of those. He broke his ankle on the roof stunt, and it's just.
I am jumping out a window.
I'm jumping out of a window.
There's a lot of stuff that I could say about Fallout. I've seen all of the Mission Impossible movies. Okay. It's one of like my top of those. There's only been 6, but it's top 2 probably for me.
Right.
I think it's kind of an example of why Mission Impossible is a lot better than a lot of the other action franchises out there.
007 or...
And I think the reason is the stunts are just insane,
and they're real,
and they're practical. They're real. Yeah. It's not CGI. They're actually doing this.
I remember the one where he's hanging from the helicopter, and he falls. The pilot radioed, "I think I lost him," and that's
so
crazy. But he hung on, and I don't think he had a harness. Well, he had to have had a harness.
He had to have, right?
I don't know.
Like, I assume he did, but I don't actually know. Like,
but it's Tom Cruise. You would assume.
That's the kind of stuff that makes me love the Mission Impossible franchise.
It's good. Yeah,
and also it was well written. Henry Cavill was a great villain.
Yeah, it had a good story arc. Yeah.
I thought it was gonna end way sooner than it did, and I'm glad that there was a moment where you got the reveal with Henry Cavill, and I thought that was about to be the end of the movie, and I'm so glad it wasn't because the rest of the movie was so good.
With the helicopter scene,
yeah.
So
it caught me off guard.
Yeah, the only criticism I would have with it, and they actually self-mentioned this, is that it, like every movie like that, it came down to the last second. Yes, they actually, and the reason I don't criticize it more is they actually mentioned it in the movie. He was like, "How long do we have?" And he was like, "The usual." So, yeah, that's really the only minor criticism I have. It was pretty good. It was a pretty good movie.
All right, so I don't have a stake in this at all. But do you want to talk about Bumblebee?
I do.
All right,
I have not. This is the only Transformers movie I've seen, But my dad and his brother are really big Transformers fans. I watched the old animated series. I watched the new animated series. So I'm knee deep in Transformers. It was a good movie. It was a good movie, and it was a good Transformers movie. Dare I say the best? My uncle, who's seen them all, he said it rivaled the story of the first one. Haven't seen the first one personally, but
I mean, I haven't heard good things about
right.
the
I have not heard
movies,
good things about the Transformers movies. So I went into this with a grain of salt. I was like, this movie's probably not going to be any good. It was really good. It had a great story. One thing though I really liked, it was the choreographed fighting. Like they would do moves that you would see, and it was like, whoa, like that actually makes sense. Like it was. I don't even know how to explain it.
But like
it wasn't basic fighting. It was really cool. I don't know how to explain it, but it was if it rivaled the story of the first one and all the other ones are not good, I would say pretty cut and dry. It was the best Transformers movie. It was just so good. Great story, compelling characters. Bumblebee is always a win. And yeah, I liked the pre-Transformers feel. Like Bumblebee originally going to Earth. I don't know if they're connecting it to the old one. I have no idea. I think they are, but it doesn't make sense. I don't know.
So just don't worry about it.
Yeah, it was a really good movie. I liked it a lot.
I gotta say, I have no stake in this. I fully expected Bumblebee to flop, and I'm kind of glad it didn't.
Same. Yeah,
I'm glad they're moving it in a good direction.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I hope they...
That's all I've got to say about it.
I hope they learn from this and break this off and make it its own movie.
And I kind of want to see it now.
Yeah. It's pretty good. I would recommend it.
All right. Now, I'm going to go on a rant of my own because Nathan seems to disagree with me on this one.
Well, not disagree. Same thing. I haven't seen the movie.
I want to talk about Ready Player One. I saw this movie, and I loved it. It's, I've read the book as well, and it's not as good as the book. The book is fantastic, but the movie it's kind of like a love letter to the book, because there's no way you can there's a lot going on in the book, and you can't do the whole thing in a movie. And so they did a great job of modifying the story, condensing, really kind of editing the plot points, kind of aging it up a little bit, not like making it more like mature or like inappropriate, but like making it more recent and more relevant, including more modern references. Yeah. I love the idea of like an Easter egg hunt as the plot for a movie, and it did a great job with it. It wasn't like a stellar movie. It wasn't groundbreaking. Well, some of the visuals might have been groundbreaking, but it was a good movie. So I wanted to shout that out.
Yeah. We've spent like 20 minutes on this, I think. We need to move on to music and video games.
All right, first...
Very quick, yeah.
Solo.
It was a movie that exists.
It's okay.
It's okay, yeah, definitely.
It's not like a bad movie.
Right.
But like, it's pretty weak for a Star Wars movie.
Yeah, especially coming off The Last Jedi. People wanted a good Star Wars movie. On that front, I don't think it delivered. It did not deliver the want for a Star Wars movie after The Last Jedi, which I liked The Last Jedi. People criticize this is the problem
big
I have.
Hyperspace thing.
No, I
or
can,
the subplot.
I can get behind the hyperspace thing. I can actually explain the science to you.
I don't care.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm not going to. The problem I have with people criticizing Last Jedi is the big complaint they had with The Force Awakens is it was way too much like the fourth movie. You put them side by side, they're exactly the same movie. Then Rian Johnson comes in.
Does something different.
Now, Rian Johnson did a lot of things bad in that movie. I actually saw a meme that actually explained it really well. It's the part where Luke takes his lightsaber and throws it away. They captioned it like Rey's parents, Snoke's background. He just threw some of the big points that people wanted to see away, which is...
That's fair.
Like, yes, I love the movie on how it's different. It's got, Crate was a cool scene. The hyperspace thing, not to everyone, but kind of made sense after you think about it. The battle
The
with...
thing is, I don't really care about, like, the rules of science fiction.
Right.
So,
yeah.
I wouldn't criticize it on that. My only criticism with Last Jedi is I didn't find it that entertaining,
I would agree with you on
Sitting
that.
in it, I was just okay, this is an okay movie.
Yeah.
While I was sitting in Solo, I think this kind of points out the differences. I loved watching Solo. I don't think it's a great movie, but I loved watching it.
Yeah.
For probably 2 reasons. Do you remember the name of the guy who played Han Solo? Because I don't.
Here,
he did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
It's going to tell us in a second. Scroll down more. What? Why is this so difficult? Okay, go on.
Wait. It should say in the description. Give us a minute while we figure this out.
Sorry. Is it
Alden
and Enric? And
I think so, because Woody Harrelson is...
Woody
Harrelson is awesome, by the way.
He did a great... Woody Harrelson, this guy that played...
Yeah, Alden
Ehrenreich.
Ehrenreich.
That's not how you say it. I'm sorry, but...
Yeah.
Alden Ehrenreich, Woody Harrelson, and Donald Glover made the movie for me.
Yeah.
They got into their characters so well. Alden did a great job playing Han Solo as someone who hadn't played Han Solo. He did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
And honestly, the highlight of the movie for me was Donald Glover as Lando Calrissian. He was so funny. He was pitch perfect as the character. I loved it.
Yeah.
And that's what like sold me on the movie as opposed to a lot of other things.
Yeah, I liked it. Yeah, I would agree with a lot of the things you said. Contrast with The Last Jedi, I did like watching it.
I just think
I liked watching The Last Jedi too. I enjoyed the movie.
I just think the one thing Solo did better than Last Jedi was like I really felt like the characters and their interaction. They felt like the characters. They didn't feel I don't know. I didn't know how to feel about like Rey or Luke or Poe or Finn.
Finn, yeah.
I didn't like Rose, but I don't think anybody liked Rose. So
yeah,
and it was just honestly, if you give me an ass story with ass special effects and great characters, I'll like that more than the other way around.
Great visual effects, yeah. The only thing I would have, it felt too crammed.
A Star Wars story?
No, yeah, Solo. It felt too quick. Like, oh, this, and oh, that, and oh. I actually also didn't like their interpretation of the Kessel Run. I don't know if that's canon or not, like with the comics or the movie or what he intended it to be. I thought it was going to be like a race or like a canyon. Not this dust
That's
cloud.
never been the intention.
I know, and that's why I say it like that. Thinking about it now, I don't know if what they thought of the Kessel Run as canon.
I think it's pretty close to what they were imagining the Kessel Run to be.
But
I see what you mean.
I always imagined it as a race or a canyon with a really daring side path that would get you under 12 parsecs. Yeah, I just felt it was a little too crammed. Not crammed quick.
Yeah,
it was quick, and then I was like, sitting in the movie. Oh, it's over.
That's fair. Quick. It was pretty fast. The only thing I would say about that is, at its core, Solo is like a heist movie.
Right.
And those have always been fairly fast paced.
Yeah.
But I also agree with you. So
right. All right.
Let's move on.
Yeah, let's move on. It's been like
way too long since we started talking about movies.
Yeah. I think we really need to do a quickie on video games and movies.
Yeah.
We have a ton of time, but this is going to be like a 45-minute.
That's fine. It's the year review.
Sure, yeah.
It's going to take a while.
This is not a meme review.
It's a year review.
I wish we had as many subs as PewDiePie, but go sub to PewDiePie so we can beat T-Series. I think he's over 1 million subs now. Over? I don't know.
Let's talk about music.
Music review.
For 2018.
Right. Not a lot with this one. Definitely not as much as movies. But,
we were looking at like the top 50 list, and the 3 that like stuck out to me, the 2 or 3 that stuck out to me.
Not on the list.
Not on the list. Which makes me unhappy. So we're just going to talk about like the big ones that stuck out to us, to top 3.
And maybe some honorable mentions.
Right. So number 3, I think it's fair to say, is this one.
Yeah, just because it wasn't.
We're not sure. It's technically a deluxe edition that was released a year later, but it's the Click.
Yeah, the Click Deluxe Edition.
From AJR.
I would place it top 1, but the only reason it's top 3 is bottom of the top 3 was because it's the deluxe. It's not the original.
The deluxe edition was released 2018. The original was released 2017.
Yeah.
But it's a great album. AJR is a great band. They've really come into their own sound with the Click. And then they have some really standout songs like That's such an awkward pause. Like,
I'm not famous. Come hang out.
Netflix trip for me.
Netflix trip. Week sober up. My personal favorite is 3:30.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
and then the deluxe edition added "Burn the House Down," which was
always,
iconic.
Yeah.
And one of my favorites, which apparently Nathan hasn't heard, I recommend you look it up. But "Role Models" is one of my favorite songs. It's more of an acoustic sound, but they do a great job with it, and I love that. All right, so that's number 3. Well, which one's number 2?
I would say Glory Sound Prep.
Okay, I would agree with you.
Just because
the other one was so great in my opinion. Heck, I can't type.
So Jamie cannot type.
You go ahead and do the intro. You do the intro for it.
Right. Glory Sound Prep. I've been listening to it recently. I know we talked about this episode 1. It was a little crowded, like you mentioned. You know.
Some of the beats are just like really busy,
right?
Which I've the more I've listened to it, the more I've come to like that. I've noticed some things about it.
Yeah,
I think that John Bellion, the guy who made the album, is kind of compensating a little bit with this album because it's a little shorter, so you have like he wants to put in more things, but he has less time to do it.
Right.
And also, there's this element of one of the things that he used to really be known for is doing little vocal ad-libs in the drums, which I loved. And he didn't do it on this album.
Right.
And I was like, okay.
That's sad. That's big sad.
And then the more I listened to it, the more I realized that he just kind of changed how he did it. If you listen to the beginning of, say, Ma's Joint, if you listen to Couples Retreat, if you listen to...
I think JT had a little bit of it.
Maybe JT. You can hear these amazing, really like stunning vocal layers.
Yeah.
And the best place to hear it, I think, is probably either the drop, quote unquote, drop of Couples Retreat, or maybe if you listen to the beginning of Ma's Joint, there's this section where it's like just his voice, and then it sounds like a synth under it almost. But if you listen to it, you'll realize it's actually his vocals that are like layers, and it's almost like a choir in the background. And it speaks to me a lot about the importance of vocals to him. Yeah. Also, I just like to say the writing.
Yeah, the message in a lot of them were really good,
and not just the message, but like the hooks, the little punchlines in the album, his rhyme schemes. What was that? That was Adult Swim. Which I love that track. He switches between like 3 beats, I think, while making it sound like he's still, changing channels on a radio. Yeah. It's an amazing song. He switches subjects every time, but it still sounds so coherent. Yeah. And the rhyme scheme is amazing. If you listen to, I'm trying to remember some of the rhymes, but the opening of Adult Swim, like I've just been fanning myself. I'm such a fan of myself. There's levels to the cool, like a fan on the shelf. Yeah, that just layers of rhyme scheme. It's amazing.
Yeah, and I think the ones that are a little exempt from the crowded aspect, Conversations with My Wife.
I think just Blue really would be fair to not
Blue,
include.
JT. You could argue it was crowded, but it was also consistent.
Yeah, it was consistent.
It was just a song, which I liked, and
honestly, it's not that any specific track was overly crowded,
right.
But it's like
the whole album, a little bit of aspects from Ma's Joints, Adult Swim, just.
And I would say JT or Conversations with My Wife near the end of the songs, they just get a little busy. Yeah. And I like listening to that, but it is a little busy.
Yeah. Also, Cautionary Tales is really good.
Cautionary Tales or Blue is my favorite song on the album. I go back and forth between them. Yeah. Cautionary Tales has an amazing guitar lick that goes throughout it, and then there's this great hook, hey, the king, the legend, that I can just imagine like a group of people at the concert chanting. Yeah. It would be amazing to see him live. It's a great album. Saving from himself.
Yeah, I love that part. And then
we're going to talk about the number one album for us of the year.
Sweetener by Ariana. No, just kidding.
I'm going to smack you.
Trench.
Don't even joke about that. We're talking about Trench from 21 Pilots. This album is amazing. Mm-hmm. I'd almost call it perfect, were it not for maybe one song, I'm not a particularly big fan of The Hype, but this album is amazing. I love how 21 Pilots, their sound matures and changes with every album.
Mm-hmm.
With their previous albums, you know,
it was light and poppy, and
Blurry Face was pretty like radio sounding, I'd say.
Lighthearted radio.
Like, maybe not necessarily lighthearted, but like you'd hear it on the radio.
Okay, yeah.
Vessel was more experimental, kind of gritty, and it was less produced, I guess. It sounded more homemade, which I liked. And I think Trench is almost like the natural progression, the next step.
Yeah.
Trench, except for a couple tracks that aren't supposed to be, like say Jumpsuit, this album is like butter smooth. It's so, the instrumentation, the production is amazing. It flows from one track to another really well. Tracks like Morph have some of like, Morph almost sounds like an old school like Tribe Called Quest hip hop beat. It's amazing. The bass line is great. It has this great chorus that really breaks down, and then that juxtaposed with the verse. I could go on and on about Trench. I think another highlight is probably Neon Gravestones, one of the like the deepest songs I've ever heard. The messages on this album are great. The lyrics are brilliant. My personal favorite off the album, you might want to pick one too, but my personal favorite is Pet Cheetah. I don't think it's the best song on the album by any means, but I love, because Pet Cheetah, essentially it's a song about writer's block, and so he tries to write about anything he can, and then he goes, the second verse starts off with, "I've got a pet cheetah down in my basement. I raised him and tamed him and named him Jason Statham." I don't remember the rest of the lyrics, but like the rhyme scheme is killer, and it's just this hilarious sort of exercise in what to do with writer's block. And I also love the chorus. "No, I walk slow. I want to stop time. I'll sit here till I find the problem." Because that's how I am when I write music. I get very technical with myself. I'm gonna sit here till I find the problem. So that's my opinion. You have any more comments on Trench?
I really don't. I haven't listened to that much.
Maybe a favorite song at least?
Jumpsuit, I think is my favorite. I don't know.
That's fair.
That's really the only song I've ever listened to. My Blood is good. I like that one.
My Blood. What?
What? My Blood?
I will
suck your blood.
I did not say blah, blah, blah. Sorry. My Blood has this great, like, almost 80s sound to it.
Yeah. And
the bass line is amazing. I learned how to play it. It's so much fun to play. Cool. So, yeah, that's kind of music of 2018 for us. That's 3 albums we didn't see get enough recognition.
Yeah.
So,
not
enough official.
Yeah, none of them were on the top 50s list. That took so much effort to say. Woof.
All right, you have any honorable mentions or anything from this year? Because I don't have anything off the top of my head.
No.
All right, then let's move on to
video games.
Quick talk about video games.
Really quick.
First of all, Fortnite won Game of the Year.
It did.
It was the Game of the Year, in all fairness.
Yeah.
I don't like the game particularly. Yeah. I like playing with my friends because I like to hang out with my friends.
Right.
But
Spider-Man's a single player.
Yeah. And, like, it's an okay game. I think they made a great decision releasing the creative mode. Mm-hmm. I played that with, like, you and Noah and Andrew, and that's some of the most fun I've had in the game ever.
Yeah, it takes away the frustrating aspect of the game.
Yeah.
I play it. I like it. Not as much now. I'm banging holes in my desk from rage. Just kidding. I don't rage. But, okay.
I distinctly remember you on, like, 7 separate occasions saying, "Why do I play this game? I hate this game."
That's what I'm talking about. Like, I don't like the game anymore. It's the reason being the skill gap is too high.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't play enough. I don't want to play that much to get good.
I'd almost argue that the skill gap is too low because, like, it's a lot of RNG. It's a lot of bloom. It's a lot of what weapons you find.
See, that's just RNG and luck. You're gonna have that in every video game.
Nah.
Like in a game, you will, like, there's no denying it, you will get bulldozed by a sweat. In every game. And that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's fair.
There's no gap between a good player like me and someone who plays 12 hours and can build a Empire State Building in 5 seconds. And it's really frustrating. I know Courage talked about this. He said it's frustrating for the top players too right now because a lot of the items in Season 7 have lowered the skill gap. Planes, dynamite. Obviously, the sword lowered the skill gap. Boomboxes. But I'm on the other side of that. Like, I think I'm a good player. I think I can build very well. I outbuild Noah on every occasion. Well, 9 times out of 10, I outbuild our friend who's really good on computer. I outbuild him on a PlayStation. And I think I'm really good with building, but, like, I just can't get better up to that good pro level where you can just John Wick someone back to the lobby. It's just... I think the skill gap is too frustrating. Too big, too frustrating. Yeah. And I mean, that's why creative really did well. Yeah. Right now I'm having fun. I built a maze. I'm building other things. I'm playing with you guys. It's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, Fortnite is a pretty divisive game.
Yeah.
You either love it or hate it.
Yeah.
Or are like so neutral that it's like annoying.
Yeah.
Like
I'd be in the neutral part. Well, yeah, I'd be in the neutral part at this point.
Yeah. But, like, it definitely deserved Game of the Year just because it, like, everybody talked about it this year.
You think of 2018, you think of PewDiePie vs. 2 series, and you think of Fortnite.
And if you're me, you think about Trench, but, like,
right.
that kind of depends.
Right.
All right. Moving on, we had a couple other great games this year.
Yeah.
God of War did really well.
Mm-hmm.
What are some other...
What was the other one that did really well from PlayStation this year?
I don't remember. Shoot. Hold on. So God of War this year. There was some other PlayStation exclusive that I'm totally blanking on.
Yeah, same.
But it's fine because we don't have it.
Yeah, and personally for us,
Spider-Man. Oh my gosh.
I can't say enough about this game. I remember I was a little iffy on it. I'd never played a game like it. It was a lot of money, but both Jamie and Andrew recommended it for me. And within the first night of playing it, I was like, this is such a good game. And I finished the main story yesterday. I'm about 80% complete with the game. It was incredible. The villains, while not being like, you can't get a better Adrian Toomes than the MCU version.
No, you can't.
You can't. It's just so good, Michael Keaton. The way they took away the biological part of it.
Well, not so much the biological, but I don't know if you know this. In the comics, he was this like stuck-up businessman that no one could relate to.
Yeah.
And then they made him this like middle-class worker, and I was like, where are you going with this?
But they actually did really well with it.
And it made him so much more of a relatable character.
Yeah. Like going with that, the Vulture in Spider-Man game, it's not better than the Toomes, but they're all driven. All the villains have they have a
motivation.
Thank you.
And it's a motivation that you can connect to and sympathize with.
Yeah, like, oh darn it, I don't want to spoil it. Doc Ock has a guff against the mayor. So does Martin Lee. They team up. They have motivation.
Spoiler alert.
Well, I'm trying to.
You already spoiled it.
I'm trying to avoid the spoilers by speaking vaguely. It was just such a good game. It was so good. I'm not even done with it. I haven't even started the DLCs. Now, I've heard there's a very annoying character, but...
All right, so let me talk about a little bit of the specifics that you haven't like gotten into. Mm-hmm. Not spoilers necessarily, but first of all, the web swinging is the best I've seen in any game ever. To be fair, I've only played like 4 Spider-Man video games, but I could swing around the city and that would be the entire game, and I'd be like, yeah, this is dope.
Yeah,
because it's so good.
You don't want to it's so good you don't want to fast travel.
Yeah, it does have a fast travel option. Yeah. I never use it because I love swinging around the city. Yeah,
the mission is 4,000 meters away on the exact other side, but it's so much fun to swing, you're going to swing the 4,000 meters.
The combat is amazing.
It's good, yes.
It's a great system that they've come up with. It feels really natural.
It feels smooth.
It feels smooth, and it's really...
Developed?
No, it's like... connected to Spider-Man.
Oh, okay,
It's how Spider-Man should fight. Yeah. It's juggling multiple opponents at the same time,
right?
Using different gadgets, different attacks.
Yeah, the web swing, the web throw up in the air,
coming off the walls.
Yeah,
All the gadgets are so much fun.
The gadgets are so much fun.
Even like the ridiculous ones. Like there's one called the suspension matrix where you like shoot it and it like yeets people up in the air and holds them there. And it's absurd, but it's so much fun.
Yeah. And
the tone of the game is great. The story is amazing.
The visual effects are great.
Yeah, the graphics are stunning. And a little bit of a spoiler alert, but Doc Ock is the best iteration I've ever seen.
I have not seen a better Doc Ock.
I've seen several versions of Doc Ock across the cartoons, the movies. I quite liked Spider-Man 2's version of Doc Ock. They did a great job with him. But he's such a tragic figure.
Yeah.
In this,
he's just so good in the game.
The writing is amazing. The dialogue is amazing. The little jokes are amazing. All the little suits are amazing.
The suits are great. Yeah,
it's a game that will keep you playing.
Yeah, like I'm done with the story. I could play Fortnite. I could play Smash Brothers. I'm gonna keep playing Spider-Man. I want to at least 100% the main story before moving on to something or the DLCs.
I have 100%ed the main story and the first DLC. It's so satisfying. Fair warning. Everything about the game is great. The little collectathon things are amazing. Yeah. There is one annoying character. Her name is Screwball. You'll see her in the DLCs and in some of the side missions. And she is just the worst.
Doesn't she take the place of Taskmaster?
In the DLCs, she takes the place of the Taskmaster challenges. And she's
Taskmaster is awesome.
Even, like, Taskmaster is just like this side character that you don't even have to follow up on.
He's so cool.
And he's great. There's no way this game should have been nearly as good as it was. And it's fantastic.
It's incredible, yeah.
It's my favorite game of all time.
Wow.
It honestly might be my favorite representation of Spider-Man of all time.
I would disagree with you. I love Tom Holland, how he plays it.
And don't get me wrong, I love Tom Holland.
Yeah.
I also love like all of the versions from Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
It would be one of those two if I had to pick somebody else, but the dialogue, the writing, the choices, it's pitch perfect for Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Even the emotional beats.
The emotional beats are just, they hit you hard.
There's two specific moments near the end of the game. I dang near cried.
I didn't. I knew that you said you did, but I didn't.
I didn't fully cry, but I like teared up.
Yeah.
Please stop touching things.
I'm
Thank
sorry.
you. It's a great game.
Yeah, it's got all the aspects of an amazing game.
It's a great story. It's
great graphics.
There's not really a lot we can say that hasn't been said already.
Right.
It's a great game, and if you have a PlayStation, you should pick it up.
Yeah. Maybe not the DLCs.
Maybe not the DLCs.
You can get the Spider-Man experience without the DLCs.
The reason I got the DLCs is because I knew I was going to love this game, and so I was going to want to play more of this game than there was.
Right.
Because I've already 100% completed the main game.
Right.
And it's so great to know that there's like more after that, too.
Yeah. I think that's it for Spider-Man. Other things I would just have to say, Smash Brothers was amazing.
I've played Smash Brothers a little bit. I'm terrible at it, but it's fun. So
yeah, I main Link, and not the wimpy Links that just use the bow. I use everything else.
I main that guy that has the grapple throw.
Huh?
I don't know if that's actually a thing or not. All I know is that I spammed it on Noah.
Samus is probably.
Yeah. I spammed Samus.
Main.
That was fun.
Samus. Oh yeah, he spammed the.
I spammed the grab throw thing.
Oh, also, I cannot wait until Nintendo develop. You will have no idea what I'm talking about.
Okay.
But, and I know none of our viewers will because now thinking about it, none of them play Nintendo.
Just go.
But I cannot wait. I cannot wait for Nintendo to develop Prime 4, Metroid Prime 4. The Prime games were amazing. All three of them. My brother played for 1 and 2. I played the third one.
I actually do kind of know what he's talking about.
Oh, sweet. And I cannot wait for the 4th Metroid Prime. The Switch has done almost everything right. Nintendo Switch Online. Because you can still find fun stuff in a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
I would use that $20 to buy so much mac and cheese.
Please stop quoting memes that our listeners won't understand.
Yeah, I know. It's hilarious. But yeah, I cannot wait for Metroid Prime 4. I think they're going to do a really good job with it. Like I said, the Switch hasn't done everything perfect, but they've done the games perfect. Think about it. Odyssey, out of the park. Breath of the Wild, out of the park. Splatoon 2, kind of. It was a development of the first one. It was a finalized experiment.
Okay.
Splatoon was definitely an experiment. It was a paintball game with skid quid. Whoa.
What?
Kid squids. I don't know what I said there.
Squidlings.
Inklings. They're called Inklings. But yeah, it was a finished experiment, which was really good. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, again, a port. But it was still really good. Yeah. It had all the DLCs. It was full price, but it had all the DLCs. It was really good. And then Smash Brothers.
Even I want to add, I played a little bit of Breath of the Wild with Nathan, and I was blown away. Like, I have a little bit of an issue with Breath of the Wild, but that's just me. Yeah. I'll tell this story real quick. Uh-huh. There's this game that's my second favorite game of all time now, thanks to Spider-Man. It's a game called Horizon Zero Dawn. Mm-hmm. It's an amazing game. Came out 2017, same year as
Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. I didn't get that game till like late, but I love that game. It's fantastic. Its story is great. Its mechanics are great. It somehow made a way to have like cave girl fighting robot dinosaurs, not like super cheesy or cringy.
Yeah.
And I personally like really enjoy playing that game. And it got beat out for Game of the Year
by Breath of the Wild,
which is a similar game that takes place that has like some similar weapons and mechanics, takes place in similar terrains. Yeah. And deals with like some similar,
so much better.
And it also has like a big boss fight with like a glowing red thing.
I forget. Oh, Pigpocalypse.
I'm gonna pretend I know what that means.
It's Ganon.
Yeah,
Ganon is
Ganon Prime. There's some word with it.
Ganondorf Ganon. Oh, Calamity Ganon.
Yeah, there it is. That's the word. I remember him mentioning that. Yeah, but so there's similar games. Breath of the Wild did it better technically. But I still love Zero Dawn, so I have a little bit of a bone to pick with it, but that's just me.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that wraps up video games. I was just saying, I really can't wait for Metroid Prime. They've knocked out of the park every single game.
Nintendo is doing a great job with their games. Yeah. I've never been a fan of their systems, particularly. The Wii was like...
It was iconic.
It was iconic. It was glitchy.
Yeah.
And it was... Looking back on it, their controllers kind of annoy me, especially with like the nunchuck.
Yeah.
But still,
at heart, I'm a big Nintendo fan.
I respect Nintendo.
After 100%ing Spider-Man, maybe playing a little bit more Smash, I definitely want to go back to Breath of the Wild. I need a new controller because my Joy-Cons are whack. But it's such a good game.
All right.
Yeah, I think that's it. That's a long episode. I know.
So there you go. That's the Marauders
podcast
2018 and rewind.
Oh, I bet we're gonna get more likes than dislikes.
Is that a rewind joke?
That's a rewind joke.
That's all from us. Pardon me while I smack Nathan.